At 76 years old, Meryl Streep stands as a symbol of grace, strength, and timeless artistry. Yet, what has quietly unfolded in her life will move even the most steadfast heart to tears. For decades, she has been the golden heartbeat of Hollywood, the woman whose every performance feels like a mirror to our souls, whose voice and presence have carried generations through laughter, love, and heartbreak. But behind the flawless red carpet appearances and thunderous applause lies a story far more human, far more fragile, and far more powerful than any role she has ever played. It's a story of loss and resilience, of quiet strength and unspoken pain, a reminder that even the brightest stars face the darkest nights. Long before she became the legend the world knows, Meryl was simply Mary Louise Streep, a curious young girl from Summit, New Jersey, who loved to sing, dream, and perform in front of her mirror. She wasn't born into fame or fortune. She built her destiny with raw talent, endless curiosity, and a quiet fire that no one could extinguish. In her early years, she faced rejection after rejection, often told she wasn't pretty enough for leading roles. But what they couldn't see, what Meryl always knew, was that her power didn't come from glamour, it came from truth. Every emotion she ever felt, every tear she ever shed, would one day become the foundation of her art. When Meryl met actor John Cazale in the 1970s, she found a love that changed her life forever. Their connection was deep, pure, and unwavering. But just as her career began to blossom, tragedy struck. John was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. In that moment, Meryl's world stopped. Yet she never left his side, standing by him until his final breath. She was only 28 years old, but she had already lived through a heartbreak most could never imagine. That loss shattered her, yet it also shaped her into the artist the world would come to know. One who could channel every ounce of grief into unforgettable performances. When she portrayed the heart-wrenching role of Sophie in Sophie's Choice, she wasn't just acting. She was reliving the pain of losing the man she loved. But Meryl didn't stop there. She rose again and again, like a phoenix from the ashes of her sorrow. Every film became a chapter of her healing. Kramer versus Kramer, The Iron Lady, The Bridges of Madison County, The Devil Wears Prada. Each performance wasn't just entertainment. It was a glimpse into the soul of a woman who had learned to turn pain into poetry. Hollywood crowned her its queen, showering her with awards, including 3 Oscars and over 20 nominations. Yet, even at the height of her fame, she never lost her humility. She once said, "The great gift of human beings is that we have the power of empathy." That quote defined not just as an actress, but as a human being. In her personal life, Meryl sought peace and simplicity. In 1978, she married sculptor Don Gummer, a man who understood her need for privacy and grounded her in a world that often felt chaotic. Together, they raised 4 children, balancing art, family, and purpose in a way few Hollywood couples ever could. But life, as it always does, changed with time. After 45 years of marriage, Meryl and Don quietly separated in 2023. There were no public arguments, no media scandals, just a quiet acknowledgement that sometimes even deep love must evolve. It was a moment that showed the world that even the strongest hearts must sometimes let go. At 76, Meryl Streep continues to redefine beauty and power in ways Hollywood rarely dares to show. While others chase youth, she embraces authenticity. Her silver hair, her gentle wrinkles, her confident stride. Each speaks of a woman unafraid to age, unafraid to show that every chapter of life holds its own kind of glory. She has become an icon not just of cinema, but of humanity itself. A woman who reminds us that aging is not something to fear, but something to honor. She often says, "You have to embrace getting older. Life doesn't stop, it deepens." And indeed, her life has deepened into something profoundly inspiring. Today, Meryl spends her time mentoring young artists, supporting environmental and humanitarian causes, and occasionally gracing the screen with performances that still leave audiences spellbound. But when you look at her now, her kind eyes, her soft laughter, her reflective presence, you can sense something deeper. She carries the weight of time, the memories of lost love, the quiet ache of change, but she also carries gratitude, wisdom, and peace. Her spirit hasn't dimmed, it has transformed. She is no longer just the actress the world fell in love with. She is a living testament to endurance, to grace, and to the beauty of a soul that never stops growing. So, what really happened to Meryl Streep at 76? Life happened in all its heartbreak, beauty, and wonder. She has known love and loss, fame and solitude, triumph and silence. And through it all, she has remained true to herself. When you see her today, radiant, reflective, and unapologetically human, you'll realize that Meryl's greatest role was never one written for the screen. It was the role she lived. A woman who showed the world that aging is not something to fear, but something to honor. And that's why, when you see her now, you may find yourself holding back tears, not out of sadness, but out of awe, for a life so deeply and beautifully lived.